Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now today I'm doing part 1 of the 10 cards 1 kit using this lovely little goodie box here. This is the My Monthly Hero November 2017 card kit, and I'm going to unbox it with you before we start in with the first 5 cards. Now this kit did sell out. It actually kind of sold out really fast. That was not surprised though, because it's a fun kit. It's a tag themed kit, which is so fun. So we're going to take a look at this little goodie bag here. I wanted to show you briefly what came in the November kit. Now first off, you get some Delicata inks. I love Delicata inks. They're beautiful, and you get 2 different colors. You get, this is Golden Glitz, and it's one I didn't have in my stash. But it's a beautiful gold color, and the shimmer on it is just beautiful. So you get that, and then you also get a Celestial Copper. Now I already had one, so I'm not going to open up the one that came in the kit, but it's a beautiful copper color. I use that a lot for my fall cards. Then you also get this. You get 10 yards of the baker's twine, and it's red and white, and it's pretty thick. And then you get 60 of these tags. And I couldn't believe it. You get green Christmas trees, you get the craft Christmas trees, and then you get white ones. And they're already pre-cut and have holes on top, and they're pretty heavy-duty cardstock. And then you get your Christmas bulbs. You get this beautiful maroon color, you get craft, and then you get white. Love that. And then you also get your little stars. This is a real pretty purple. And then you get, of course, craft, and then white again with that as well. And there's 60 of them total, so tons of tags. And then you get your snowflakes. You get a real pretty pale blue, you get white and craft. So you get all those tags with it. And then you also get your stamp set. This is a 6x8 stamp set, and it has 4 large yes, it came wrapped with the green and white baker's twine, and there's quite a bit in there. So you get red and white baker's twine and green and white also. But here's your stamp set. Love this stamp set. You get 4 large images that will fit your tags. So you don't even have to die cut. You can just stamp on your tags there. And then get the Christmas tree. You get the star and the Christmas bulb. Now you also get 4 tag dies. Now on the inside of each one of them, there's these little tags that you could stamp your sentiment on, and they fit all of the sentiments, which are really nice. Or if you wanted a few of them, like the star and the Christmas bulb, you can cut it out to create like a little shaker tag, which is really neat too. So you get all of those. Love that. I wanted to see if that little circle fit the smaller snowflakes in the stamp set, and it was just a tad bit small, but I think it would look great for the center of that snowflake. So that's everything that came in the November kit, and we're going to jump in with card number 1. Now for card number 1, I'm taking a rectangle die. I'm going to cut out my panel. Now, once I have this cut out, I'm going to take a smaller rectangle die that will create kind of like a frame. Well, here I'm showing you the size of the panel. It's about 3/8 of an inch smaller than my card base. But here's the smaller rectangle die, and I'm going to just use some Post-it tape and secure it on that panel. And then I'm going to run it through my die cut machine, but not all the way. Partially. I want to angle it towards the bottom, and making sure that that bottom part is hanging over my cutting plates. And then I'm going to run it through like that. And you'll see what this is going to do. This is going to cut out the top portion of my frame, but it's then going to leave the bottom portion intact. So you can see it just partially cut it. I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm going to create a snowbank on the bottom here. So I'm just gonna kind of curvy around and then cut up to that top point of the frame. So my frame now has a little snowbank on the bottom. I'm gonna fix that real fast there. Okay. Now I'm gonna take, this is my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I love this glue. And I'm gonna follow using the glue, I'm gonna follow the frame around the bottom edge of my snowbank. And then I'm going to fill the rest in with some glue. Get some scratch paper, otherwise I'll make a mess. But I'm just filling in all that area with my glue. What I'm going to do is take some chunky glitter, and I'm going to have that stick to that glue area. So it's a one-dimensional frame, and I like the way that looked. And it's great for mailing too. So I'm adding my glitter, and I love the way that looks. I'm going to set that aside so it gives it a little bit of time to dry. And so in the meantime, we're going to stamp some Christmas bulbs. It's a beautiful bulb. I'm going to use, this is Perfect Plum ink from Stampin' Up. Love this purple. It's a beautiful color. And then I'm going to also stamp my sentiment that says Merry Christmas while I have that ink out. Next, I'm going to take some crushed curry. It's a real pretty golden yellow, and I'm going to stamp another one of those bulbs. And then I'm going to go in with cucumber. It's a light green ink. I'm going to stamp another bulb. Okay, so I have all three of my bulbs. Now I'm going to take the coordinating die, and I'm going to cut all three of those out. And then I'm also going to take a sentiment die, and I'm going to cut out that Merry Christmas. Okay, so everything's cut out. Now for the top of those Christmas bulbs, I wanted to add a little something. So I'm taking my Versamarker, and I'm going over the top portion of the bulb. I'm going to add some of my silver, my Nuvo Classic Silver embossing powder, and I'm going to melt that embossing powder. And I didn't really get good coverage the first time, so I'm just going to go over it one more time and then add some more of that silver, and then go ahead and heat set that. And I like the twice baked look. So there's my Christmas bulbs with the silver tops. Now in my stash I have this braided silver like a rope. I added that to my Christmas bulb, and then I'm going to add the next one. This I think I got this twine rope silver stuff at Wally World or Walmart. Sorry, but my terminology, you guys are gonna love it, huh? But it was inexpensive, but I really liked it. Okay, so I roped and strung all my ornaments, and I added some foam tape behind that panel. I'm going to stick that on my card base. I'm using a standard size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card base for this card. And then I added some dimensional adhesive behind my ornaments. I'm going to trim down the bottom a little bit so they can fit right behind that snowbank. And I'm just going to add the first one. And then I'm going to add one more piece of dimensional adhesive here. And then I'm going to trim the bottom and then add that second one. I'm going to tuck that right behind the purple one. I'm going to adjust my string a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to do the third one. I'm just going to flip it over and trim down that rope twine stuff. Trim off the bottom and tuck that underneath my snowbank there. Lovely. I think that looks so pretty. Now I did pop up my sentiment with some foam tape. I'm going to trim off the end a little bit. It didn't quite fit under there. I'm just going to tuck it underneath there. Now, just for a little bells and whistles, I'm going to add some of these real pretty sequins. These are from Pretty Pink Posh, and they're so pretty and clear. They're like diamonds. I love these little sequins, and I'm just going to add a few. And then that's card number 1. I know with this kit, there's a lot of people are probably going to be making a lot of tags, so I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. So we're going to move on to card number 2. I cut out a panel here, and I'm going to show you the size behind my card base here. So it's just slightly smaller than my card base. For this card base, I'm going to be using a white card base and a white panel. And then we're going to do some stamping. I'm going to take this smaller snowflake in the stamp set. And then there's a little itty bitty leaf flourish. I'm going to take that one as well. I'm going to create my own pattern paper here. So I'm going to use this beautiful Golden Glitz Delicata ink, and I'm going to stamp this beautiful snowflake all over this panel. You can see the shine, how pretty it is. Love this stuff. I'm just going to stamp my snowflake around the entire panel. Lovely. Okay, now I'm going to take that little leaf flourish, and then this is some, I think this is old olive ink, but I'm going to stamp it once and then stamp it again right next to it, so I have a light and a dark green. I'm going to turn these beautiful snowflakes into flowers, like a little flower pattern. So I added leaves all over in those open areas, and so I think that looks so pretty. Love that gold with the green. Now in the stamp set, there is a smaller snowflake that will fit in the center of this one. I'm going to use some, this one is Cherry Cobbler, I believe. It's a real pretty red ink, and I'm going to stamp that in the center of those snowflakes. The neat thing about this is the ink, the Delicata Golden Glitz kind of pulled on top of that red ink, so it kind of gave it a little bit of shimmer, which I thought was neat. Now we're going to stamp the sentiment. For this card, I chose warm wishes, warmest wishes, sorry. And then I stamped, I have a sentiment die. I'm going to just cut that out, and then I have this beautiful gold twine. I'm just going to wrap that around my sentiment and tie a bow with it. Actually, no, I'm going to tie a knot. I decided for this, since it's one-dimensional, I thought I'd add some dimension by adding some bells. I have these itty-bitty silver bells in my stash. They're just silver and pretty. They don't make any noise, but they sure look pretty. And I'm going to thread 3 through that gold twine there. And then I'm going to tie a knot with them and then tie a bow. So I have some little silver bells next to my sentiment. Now I'm going to pop this up, and then I fishtailed a strip of green cardstock. It's a little bit larger than my sentiment, and I'm going to place that on top of the green cardstock. I wanted a green background for the sentiment. Place that right in the center. Trim off the end here. I think that looks so pretty. Okay, just using my tape runner, I'm going to adhere that to my panel. I'm going to flip that over. I got ink. I seem to have been getting ink everywhere on this for these cards. But I'm just going to place that in the center of my card base. This is top folding white card base. And then I'm just going to secure my bells with the glue dot because they were shifting, and I wanted them to stay put. Now for a little shimmer, I wanted to bring in some more silver because of the bells. So I have these silver stickles, and I just went over the centers of my snowflake flowers. And that's card number 2. Okay, now for card number 3, I'm using some craft cardstock. I created a card base, 4 1/4, 5 1/2, and then I cut out a panel that was slightly smaller. Now I'm taking another piece of craft cardstock and putting it in my mini Misty here. I'm going to stamp the large snowflake in the stamp set, and I'm just using my anti-static powder tool because we're going to be using some Versamark ink. We're going to do some embossing with this snowflake here. I'm going to stamp it twice. It didn't quite stamp well the first time. I'm using some Nouveau Glacier White embossing powder. I'm just going to cover my entire snowflake and heat set it. Lovely. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment on this cardstock as well. So I chose the sentiment that says peace and love. Love that. And I'm going to use that little circle die that came in the set. And then I also cut out an extra circle. And I did cut out my snowflake. I'm going to place my little extra circle that I cut out in the center of my panel. I just needed a little bit of a guide because I want to do some stamping behind my snowflake. I'm going to use this larger flourish in the stamp set, and just using my VersaFine ink, I'm going to use that circle as my center point, and I'm going to stamp this leaf flourish in a complete circle going around that entire panel. I think this is a beautiful flourish. Okay, I think that looks so pretty. It kind of created a snowflake on its own in the center. I thought that was pretty neat. But it wasn't as full as I wanted it to be. So I'm going in on the inside of each of those flourishes and stamping one more time. That way it's a lot more full. And I think that looks a lot nicer. I'm going to pop up my sentiment with dimensional adhesive here. Place that right in the center of my snowflake. And then I'm going to add some dimensional adhesive behind my snowflake. And that's going to go directly in the center of that panel. Love that. Okay, now I have some white jute cord. I'm just going to double it up and tie a bow and place it over that hole on the very top of my snowflake. Okay, now I'm going to add some Simply White Nouveau Crystal drops, but I better pop this up on my card base first. I'm just going to add some foam tape behind here and place that in the center of my card base. And then I'm going to go in and add a few droplets of the white, Simply White Nouveau Crystal drops. And this card was so simple, but I think it turned out so pretty. Just going to add a couple more drops here and there. And that's it for that card. Okay, now for the next card, I'm going to cut out a panel with some white cardstock, and then I'm going to take the Christmas tree die and I'm going to place it in the center and cut that out as well. So this panel is going to have a Christmas tree window in it. Lovely. Now I did cut out another panel the same size. I'm going to take some of this red and white baker's twine. I'm going to add some tape behind my panel here just so it helps it stick. And then I'm going to tie a bow here to the left. I'm going to fix it up just a little bit and trim off the ends. I'm going to add foam tape behind there. Now I wanted something on the inside of my Christmas tree. So in the stamp set there's sentiments, lots of sentiments. There's love, there's joy, cheer. I picked all the block sentiments that were in the stamp set. And so I just gathered them all together in a cluster on my acrylic block here. I'm going to adjust it, and then I got the cheers upside down, which wouldn't be good, but I just adjusted it. And then I'm going to go in with some red ink. This is, again, Cherry Cobbler. It's a beautiful red, and it went well with the baker's twine. And I'm just going to stamp that cluster on my panel here. I'm going to fill the entire panel with all those words. Get some scratch paper because I know I'm going to hang over the edges here. What I couldn't fill in with my little cluster, I just separated the words and filled in the rest of it. So there's my little panel, and I wasn't worried about the corners because they wouldn't show. Now I'm going to take my Christmas tree, make sure everything looks good. Okay, and here's where I popped that up, and I'm going to place that on that back panel there. This card was super simple, but I think the outcome was really pretty. Now once we have that done, I'm going to add some foam tape behind this. I'm going to place that in the center of a white card base. Now of course we need shimmer, so I'm going to use some of those silver stickles and just add dots here and there. I'm filling in any open spaces so it just all flows together nicely. And that's it. I got ink on the top. But that's it for that card. Now for my next card, I'm taking this panel here. It's slightly smaller than my card base. And we're going to make a Happy New Year card. So I'm taking 2 of the tags. These are the white cardstock tags. And I cut out a window using the smaller star. And then I also took that smaller star and I'm going to cut out 2 on my panel. Now I'm going to take this and I cut out 3 pieces of acetate. I'm going to create a shaker for all 3 of these, but I wanted the shaker to be separate. So I'm going to take my I'm going to glue down my acetate, and then I'm going to add some foam tape around each of those stars. And then I have 3 different golds as sequins from my stash. I'm just going to fill up each of those little stars with different colors, and then I am going to add a few little seed beads here and there. I added some like clear ones and some gold ones. I'm just going to place a backing on my tag here, and I have a friend who wants to say hello. Place that on the back. Lovely. Okay, and then I'm just going to place a piece of white cardstock on the back of this one. And I ended up trimming, just using my scissors to trim off the excess around there. It was just easier this way. Now I'm taking some gold twine here and threading my tag, trimming off the ends. And then for the sentiment, I think that looks very fun. Now I'm going to use the Happy New Year sentiment. I'm going to stamp it on a piece of white cardstock with my Versamark ink. And after I did this, I'm going to go in with some gold embossing powder. And then using the tag die, I cut out my sentiment. Now, after I did this, I thought, you know what, I could have used the Delicata ink. It was beautiful. I should have did that, but of course, hindsight's 20/20, they say. I added a few stars. Well, actually, no. I'm taping that to my card base, and then I'm going to add a few of I have some silver and gold stars. I'm just going to add a few here and there. And that's my Happy New Year card. That's card number 5. Well, there's my first 5 cards that I made today using the My Monthly Hero November 2017 card kit. I hope this inspires you, gives you some different ideas on what to do with the kit. Not only can you make beautiful tags, but you can make beautiful cards with it as well. I wish you a lovely day. At the end there's close-up pictures of all the cards I made. If you like this tutorial, give me a thumbs up, and if you're new and want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you again real soon, guys, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.